and welcome to episode 2 of the Bronze Crown lore. This episode is The Age of the Stars in the First Golden Age. Now, I would really appreciate some feedback on this video because I literally have no idea if people like it or don't like it, and I haven't been getting very many comments on my videos, so I'd really love it if I could get some feedback and some comments so I actually know what you guys like and what you guys don't like or what you want to see next, so make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below. Let us begin our story, traveler. The Chaos Dragons had evolved quite a bit at this point, and they had gotten into several dozen large tribes. 9 tribe leaders decided to get their tribes together and forge an alliance, with the intent of conquering all the other tribes and ruling the dragon world. They decided that the best way to form their alliance was with a huge party, so they got together and prepared the most delicious culinary dishes they could provide, and the tribe leaders agreed to have their children get married with the children of the other tribe leaders. The tribes got together and they began the celebrations. They feasted for several days and they indulged in other forms of bodily pleasures. They felt so much pleasure in its uncountable excess. Hundreds of dragons feeling all the pleasure they could possibly feel, and from all that pleasure, life was born. You see, it's not just pain that grants magic power, but also pleasure. Feeling any sort of feeling in your body is what creates magical power. Pleasure and pain is the path to power in the world of the Bronze Crown. Of course, that also means that those who engage in the most decadent pleasures are the ones with magical powers, along with those who are broken by pain. That's where problems arise. Those who are the worst are those who are the most powerful. But back to life being created. The magic power of all that pleasure converted the ones feeling the most pleasure into what are known as celestial dragons. White dragons turned into silver dragons, red dragons turned into gold dragons, and black dragons turned into bronze dragons. A couple dozen of the most powerful dragons turned into celestial dragons, while the rest perished as their bodies were overloaded with magical power. The celestial dragons who had been born from pleasure became enlightened by their new magic, and they began experimenting with new inventions. They forged weapons of bronze and iron rather than fighting with sticks and stones. They built walls of stone rather than huts of wood. They gathered gardens to farm for fruit rather than scavenging berries in the forest. They named themselves after the sun, moon, and stars rather than their old, savage, violent titles. They used herbs and medicines rather than just merely walking off their injuries. They elected kings and queens to rule over them and to protect them from harm. They even learned to enchant weapons with their innate magical powers. These new celestial dragons were mistrustful of chaos dragons, but they loved company among their own kin. As they advanced, they began to make weapons of steel, and they forged jewelry of gold, silver, and bronze. They developed traditions and a more complex language system. They joined one another in marriage, rather than mating once and splitting up like animals. They spoke to another in a beautiful, eloquent language, rather than communicating with their old, ugly dialects. The era of the celestial dragons was called the Age of the Stars by historians, and it was viewed as the first golden age of all the celestial dragons. Eventually, the celestial dragons decided to share their things with the chaos dragons, merely out of the kindness of their hearts. But little did they know, it would lead to the dark age of dragonkind. Thank you all for sticking with me to the end of this lore video. I really appreciate it. And I will be making more of these in the future, but make sure to comment your thoughts on it down below. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.